The rain taps against my window, creating little rivers that distort the Seattle skyline beyond. I sit cross-legged on my sofa, staring at the single chocolate cupcake on my coffee table. One sad candle stands unlit in its center. 30 years old today, the big 3-0, and absolutely no one remembers. I check my phone for the 15th time in 10 minutes. No missed calls. No texts. Just the blank screen reflecting my face back at me. The clock on my wall clicks to 8 p.m. with a quiet finality. Something inside me deflates. It's official now. My milestone birthday has come and gone, without a single acknowledgement from the people who gave me life. I unlock my phone and open Instagram, knowing it's emotional self-sabotage. My thumb scrolls almost involuntarily until I find what I'm looking for. My sister Camille's latest post. There she is, radiant at her piano recital last night, her fingers poised over the keys. 78 likes already. My mother's comment appears first. Our brilliant star. Your father and I couldn't be prouder of your magnificent performance. Dad's comment follows. That's my girl. Mozart himself would be jealous. I feel the familiar tightness in my throat. 30 years of this same pattern, and it still stings like the first time. I close Instagram and flip to my camera roll, finding photos of the boutique hotel redesign I completed last month. The warm lighting, the seamless blend of modern luxury with historical elements. The project that earned me industry recognition and a substantial bonus. A tear splashes onto my screen, distorting the image of my greatest professional achievement. I wipe it away with my sleeve. No one's ever going to celebrate you, Emery, I whisper to myself, my voice sounding small in my empty apartment. Not the way they celebrate her. The memory surfaces unbidden me at 10 years old, waiting in our living room in a pink dress my grandmother had sent for my birthday. My hair carefully brushed. A smile plastered on my face. Hurry up, we can't be late for Camille's recital, Mom had called, rushing through the room without really seeing me. But what about my party? My small voice had barely registered. Dad had patted my head absently. We'll celebrate next weekend, kiddo. We never did. That was the first time I learned to fade into the background of my own life. To expect nothing and be grateful for less. To watch Camille shine while I stood in the shadows, clapping louder than anyone. I brush another tear away, annoyed with myself for this display. I'm 30, not 10. I should be over this by now. The cupcake sits untouched, its chocolate frosting slightly hardened from waiting too long. I reach for it, then stop. What exactly am I celebrating? Another year of invisibility? Another milestone spent alone while my family forgets I exist? No, not this time. I straighten my shoulders and open my laptop. My bank account balance appears on the screen. $97,342.16. The result of years of careful saving and the recent $68,000 bonus from the hotel project. Money that no one knows about because no one has asked. I stare at the numbers, my finger hovering over my phone. The thought that forms feels dangerous, reckless even. And yet, for the first time in hours, my heart beats with something other than disappointment. I press the call button. Seattle Audi, this is Trevor speaking. How may I assist you? A cheerful voice answers. Hi, I say, my voice steadier than I expected. I was wondering if you have any Q5 seconds available? We certainly do. Several models, in fact. Were you thinking of coming in for a test drive? I look at the untouched cupcake, at the dark window streaming with rain, at the phone that hasn't rung all day. Actually, I'm thinking about buying one. Today. Today? Trevor sounds surprised. Well, we're open for another hour. I'd be happy to start the paperwork if you're serious. I am, I say, feeling a new determination rise within me. I'm very serious. I end the call and stand up, catching my reflection in the window. For a moment, I hardly recognize myself, the straight spine, the lifted chin, the gleam in my eyes that looks almost like defiance. If they won't celebrate me, I tell my reflection, I'll celebrate myself. I grab my keys and wallet, leaving the sad cupcake behind. The rain has stopped, and somewhere beyond the clouds, there might even be stars. For the first time in 30 years, I'm going to give myself the gift I deserve. Have you ever had to celebrate your own milestone because no one else remembered? Share in the comments below. 40 minutes later, the Audi dealership gleams under spotlights that make the showroom floor sparkle like wet pavement after rain. I push through the glass doors, my heart drumming a nervous rhythm against my ribs. A man in a crisp button-down approaches with the practiced smile of someone who knows how to size up a potential customer. Welcome to Seattle Audi. I'm Trevor. His handshake is firm, confident. What brings you in this evening? I called earlier about the Q5. My voice sounds steadier than I feel. I'd like to buy one. Today. Thanks for watching. Trevor blinks, surprise flickering across his face. Of course. Let me show you our selection. He leads me through a showroom of sleek vehicles that reflect the overhead lights in perfect curves. The midnight blue Q5 sits in the corner, almost watchful, as if it's been waiting for me. I run my fingers along its glossy surface, seeing my reflection distorted in the paint, a woman with purpose in her step. I can get the paperwork started if you'd like to test drive it first. Trevor offers. No need. I straighten my shoulders. This is the one. In the finance office, a woman with silver-streaked hair slides forms across a polished desk. When we reach the payment section, she looks up expectantly. How would you like to finance this purchase? I'll be putting down $60,000 cash. The words feel strange in my mouth. I'll finance the remainder. The finance manager's eyebrows rise slightly, a micro-expression of surprise that I've grown accustomed to spotting. People have always underestimated me. That's quite substantial. She taps her keyboard. May I ask how you're employed, Miss Blake? Interior architect. I recently completed a boutique hotel redesign. I don't elaborate on the industry recognition or the bonus. Let them wonder. My signature looks foreign on the final papers, my hand trembling slightly despite my resolve. The key fob feels heavy in my palm, solid, real, mine. Congratulations on your new Audi. Trevor walks me to my purchase, standing proudly beside it as if he had something to do with its creation. I catch my reflection again in the deep blue paint. The overhead lights create a halo effect around my figure. For a moment, I hardly recognize myself. There's something different about the set of my shoulders, the tilt of my chin. Back home, I park in front of my apartment building, unable to stop looking back at the car as I walk toward my door. It looks almost defiant under the streetlights. Inside, I pull out my phone and scroll to Instagram. My finger hovers over the camera icon before I grab my jacket and head back outside. This needs to be done right. 30 minutes later, I'm at Cary Park. The Seattle skyline stretches before me, the Space Needle illuminated against the night sky. I position my new Audi with the city lights as backdrop, adjusting the angle until it looks perfect, the midnight blue exterior catching the glow of the city like a mirror. I take several photos, selecting the best one. The caption takes longer than the photo shoot. I type and delete, my thumbs dancing nervously across the screen. Finally, I settle on. Happy birthday to me. Dream car, dream life. My finger hovers over post for a full minute. This isn't just about the car, it's a declaration, a statement about my worth that my family has never been willing to make. I press the button before I can change my mind. The notifications start almost immediately. Colleagues from the design firm, friends from college, former classmates. The likes accumulate, along with surprised comments. Oh my God, Emery, what a beauty. Happy birthday, you deserve it. Didn't know you were in the market for an Audi. Congrats. I'm savoring a moment of vindication when my phone buzzes with a call. Mother. I stare at her name on the screen for 3 rings before answering. Emery Jean Blake. My full name. Never a good sign. Where did you get that kind of money? No. Happy birthday. No. How are you? Just immediate suspicion. Hello to you too, Mom. I lean against the Audi's hood, feeling its solid presence supporting me. I earned it. That car costs more than most people make in a year. Harold, come talk to your daughter about this car she's apparently bought. I hear rustling as the phone changes hands. Emery? Dad's voice carries the same tone he used when I was 16 and came home past curfew. Is this some kind of lease arrangement? Because financially this seems... It's mine, Dad, paid mostly in cash. The words taste sweet in my mouth, from my bonus on the Fairmont project. Excess. Silence stretches between us. I can almost hear him calculating, reassessing. Well, his voice has shifted, unsure of its footing. That seems impulsive. My phone beeps with a text notification. Camille. I pull the phone away to glance at the preview. Wow, didn't think you could afford something like that. Mom and Dad freaking out, lol. The family group chat explodes seconds later. Messages pile up about my sudden extravagance and unexpected purchase. Not one message acknowledges what day at Island. Mother's voice returns to the line. We need to discuss this as a family. Dinner. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock sharp. Is this an invitation or a summons? I ask, surprising myself with my boldness. This is family, Emery. We're concerned. I glance at my watch. 9:43 p.m. My birthday nearly over, still unacknowledged. I'll be there, I say finally. But I'll be driving myself. After hanging up, I sit in my new car, hands resting on the premium leather steering wheel. The silence wraps around me like a blanket. Tomorrow will be a reckoning, but tonight is still mine. I start the engine and drive toward downtown. The streets are quieter now, most commuters long gone. I find a small bakery near Pike Place that stays open late. The bell tinkles as I push through the door. You caught us just before closing, says a woman wiping down the counter. What can I get you? A birthday cake. The words come out softer than I intended. A small one. She shows me a simple chocolate cake with buttercream frosting. Any message? I hesitate only briefly. Happy birthday, Emery. From me to me. Her eyes meet mine with quiet understanding as she pipes the message onto the cake in elegant script. No questions asked, just a sympathetic smile as she boxes it up. Hope it's a good one, despite everything, she says, sliding the box across the counter. Back in the car, I place the cake carefully on the passenger seat. In the window reflection, I see a woman I'm just beginning to recognize, someone who has decided her own worth isn't up for debate anymore. The cake sits beside me like a passenger as I navigate the rain-slicked streets, heading home to finish celebrating the birthday no one else remembered. The next evening, the tires of my new Audi crunch on the familiar gravel driveway of my parents' Bellevue home. I park deliberately beside Dad's practical sedan, the contrast between our vehicles, a physical manifestation of our differences. Through the large bay window, I catch their silhouettes, Mom, Dad, and Camille watching my arrival. Their expressions shift from judgment to surprise as they register the gleaming vehicle. I sit for a moment, hands still gripping the wheel. The cake box waits patiently on the passenger seat, its message hidden inside like a time bomb. A deep breath fills my lungs. 30 years of swallowed words press against my throat. Today is different, I whisper to my reflection in the rearview mirror. I gather the cake box and step out into the cool evening air. Mom opens the front door before I reach it. Emery! What a surprise! Her eyes dart past me to the Audi, then back to my face. Come in, dinner's almost ready. Dad stands in the foyer, arms crossed. That's quite a vehicle you've got there. Yes, at Island, I offer nothing more as I step inside, brushing past him with the cake box held carefully in front of me. Camille hovers nearby, curiosity battling with discomfort on her face. Hey, Em. Nice car. The dining room looks the same as always, the polished maple table where we've celebrated countless milestones, most of them Camille's. Crystal glasses catch the light from Mom's prized chandelier. The table is set with the good china, the kind reserved for important occasions. Never my birthdays. Merlot? Mom offers, already pouring, just water, thanks. I want a clear head for what's coming. Dad takes his seat at the head of the table, his kingdom secure. So, Emery, that car must have set you back. Financing these days is a trap, you know. Those dealers will tell you anything to get you to sign. I sip my water. No financing needed for most of it. The silence that follows feels physical, like a weight pressing down on the room. Mom busies herself serving pot roast, her specialty, while Dad clears his throat repeatedly. Camille glances between us, sensing the undercurrents. The Thompson Hotel project must have gone well. Camille offers, reaching for the salt. It did. I cut a small piece of meat. The client was very pleased. Hotels are risky investments these days, Dad says, his fork stabbing a carrot. Tourism fluctuates. You should be putting money into your retirement, not depreciating assets. Harold, Mom warns quietly. What? I'm just saying what any responsible parent would. These big purchases at her age. I continue eating methodically, letting his words wash over me. The same dismissal, different day. I've heard variations of this lecture my entire life. My choice of university, too expensive. My apartment in the wrong neighborhood. My career, unstable. The dinner progresses with carefully navigated small talk. Weather. Camille's upcoming recital. The neighbors' renovations. Not once does anyone mention my birthday. When we finish eating, I stand and retrieve the cake box from the sideboard where I'd placed it. The table falls silent as I set it in the center, directly under the chandelier. With deliberate movements, I open the lid. "Happy birthday, Emery," from me to me, stares up at them in elegant script on white frosting. Mom's hand flies to her mouth. "Oh, Emery, we..." "Don't." My voice comes out steadier than I expected. For 30 years, my birthdays were forgotten, while Camille's moments were celebrated like royalty. Dad shifts uncomfortably. "Now, that's not fair, isn't it?" I meet his gaze directly. "My 16th birthday. You gave me a grocery store cake while Camille had a catered party with 50 guests for hers." Mom's eyes fill with tears. "We never meant." My 20th birthday coincided with Camille's college graduation. Not only did everyone forget, but you scheduled a family vacation to celebrate her, and didn't include me, because someone needed to watch the house. Not one knows. Camille's eyes widen. "I never knew that." "And this year?" I continue, my voice gaining strength with each word. Complete silence. Not even a text message. The room stills. The only sound is the ticking of the grandfather clock in the corner, marking seconds of uncomfortable truth. I stand straighter, shoulders back. I gave myself the gift I deserved, and I don't need anyone's approval. "Broad." "But $50,000 on a car?" Dad sputters. "It's irresponsible." "Is it? The hotel project I just completed? The one none of you asked about? I transformed a struggling property into a destination, increased their revenue by 35%. Earned an industry award." I pause, letting the weight of my accomplishments sink in. "And a $68,000 bonus." Mom gasps softly. "That's my money, earned through my talent and my hard work. After decades of being invisible in this family, I decided to finally recognize my own worth." Mom dabs at her eyes with a napkin. "We never meant to make you feel that way." "It's not about intention." I keep my voice level, though my heart pounds. "It's about 30 years of consistent actions. It's about creating a family dynamic where one child matters and one doesn't." Dad stares at his plate, uncharacteristically silent. Camille reaches toward me, then pulls back. I never realized. I was so wrapped up in myself, in all the attention. I should have seen it." "Yes, you should have." The words come out sharper than intended, but I don't apologize. "But you're not the architect of this family structure. You just benefited from it." I turn back to my parents. "I don't need you to suddenly start celebrating me. That ship sailed long ago. What I need is for you to understand that I now celebrate myself. I value myself, and I won't apologize for it." Dad clears his throat. "Emery, families are complicated. We've always been proud of you." "Have you? When was the last time you came to one of my design showcases? When did you ever put a photo of my projects on the mantle, alongside Camille's recital programs? When did you ever introduce me first when meeting new people?" Mom's tears fall freely now. Dad looks stricken, as if seeing me clearly for the first time. I stand, gathering my purse. I'm not asking for apologies or promises to change. I'm simply stating facts. The dynamic in this family has been unbalanced for 30 years, and I've finally stopped accepting it as normal. I close the cake box, leaving it in the center of the table. The cake is chocolate, Dad's favorite. My smile feels foreign on my face. Consider it my birthday gift to all of you. Raindrops scatter across my windshield like tiny diamonds, each one catching the glow of Seattle's city lights. I guide my Audi through the quiet streets, fingers gripping the leather steering wheel. With each mile between me and my parents' Bellevue home, the tightness in my chest loosens. The confrontation replays in my mind, their faces when I opened that cake box. The silence that followed my words. For 30 years, my birthdays were forgotten while Camille's moments were celebrated like royalty. My voice hadn't trembled. Not once. I passed the Space Needle, illuminated against the night sky. From certain angles in the city, it looks like a UFO, hovering above downtown, ready for takeoff. Tonight, it feels like a beacon, a reminder that sometimes you have to reach impossible heights to be seen. When I reach my apartment building, I sit in the car for several minutes, watching raindrops race down the windshield. The leather seats still smell new. The dashboard lights glow soft blue in the darkness. This car isn't just transportation. It's proof that I can give myself what no one else would. Inside my apartment, everything looks different somehow. The same furniture, the same art on the walls, but the space feels charged with new energy, as if the woman who left this morning isn't the same one who returned. My phone buzzes. Then again. And again. I pour a glass of wine before checking the messages. 3 from Mom, 1 from Dad, 1 from Camille. Mom's first. We never meant to hurt you like that. You have to understand. Second. Your father and I love both our girls equally. We always have. Third. Please call me back. We need to talk about this as a family. Dad's is brief and awkward. Family unity matters more than any misunderstanding. Let's not let this create a divide. Misunderstanding. As if 30 years of pattern was just a simple mix-up. I take another sip of wine and open Camille's message. Can we meet tomorrow? Just us. Coffee at Elm Street near Pike Place at 10? I stare at my sister's text for a long time. Of all the reactions I expected, Camille wanting to meet alone wasn't one of them. My thumb hovers over the screen. Finally, I type, I'll be there. To my parents, I send nothing. Morning brings a thin layer of fog hovering over Elliott Bay. I arrive at the coffee shop 10 minutes early, choosing a table by the window where I can watch for Camille. She walks in 5 minutes late, her concert pianist posture unmistakable even in casual clothes. Our eyes meet. Something in her expression makes my heart catch vulnerability I've rarely seen from my perfect sister. I got you a latte, I say as she sits down. Thanks. She wraps her hands around the mug but doesn't drink. Her voice breaks. Tears spring to her eyes. I sit perfectly still, shocked. In 30 years, I've seen Camille cry exactly twice. When she broke her wrist at 14 and feared she'd never play piano again, and when she got accepted to Juilliard. I never saw it until now. She whispers, blinking rapidly. I was so wrapped up in my own life. The confession hangs between us. The first honest words we've exchanged as adults. Did you really never notice? I ask, my voice softer than I intend. All those years? Camille looks down at her untouched coffee. I think I assumed you were fine with it. You were always there at my recitals, cheering louder than anyone. She looks up, fresh tears spilling. But no one ever came to your architecture exhibits, not even me. The admission stings, though it's nothing I didn't know. I never once stood up for you. Her voice steadies with determination. Not when Mom and Dad forgot your high school graduation party. Not when they rescheduled your college graduation dinner because of my summer concert series. She reaches for my hand across the table. I was blind to my own privilege in our family. I let her hold my hand but say nothing. What is there to say to a lifetime of being unseen? I'm so sorry, Emery. 4 simple words. Somehow they matter more coming from her than they would from our parents. Later that week, my phone rings with Mom's number. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something makes me answer. Emery, she says, her voice cautious. I was looking at your company website, the hotel redesign you did last year. It's beautiful. The compliment feels foreign coming from her. Dad calls the next day. That car, he says gruffly. It suits you. From him, it's practically a declaration of love. Camille texts more often now. She asks about my work, shares less about her own. In family group texts, she makes a point of including me in conversations, correcting our parents when they fall into old patterns of forgetting to ask about my life. I watch these small changes with caution. 30 years of habit don't transform overnight, but something has shifted, like the first crack in a dam that has held back waters too long. In the quiet of my apartment, I run my fingers along the Audi key fob sitting on my coffee table, the talisman that broke the spell. I wonder if family relationships can truly change after decades of established patterns, or if we're just playing new roles in the same old script. The rain starts again, tapping against my windows. But tonight, it doesn't sound melancholy. It sounds like applause. A week later, the rain taps a gentle rhythm against my windshield as I drive across Lake Washington toward Bellevue. The car still smells new, a subtle leather scent that reminds me of transformation every time I slide behind the wheel. My phone buzzes with another text from Mom. The third one today. We're so looking forward to seeing you, sweetheart. Drive safely. I tap my fingers against the steering wheel, still getting used to this new version of Margot Blake, the one who remembers to text, who asks about my work, who seems genuinely interested in my existence. The invitation had appeared 3 days ago. Special family dinner on Friday, Mom had said, her voice carrying an unusual note of hesitation. Nothing fancy, just the 4 of us. I'd nearly declined. After 30 years of patterns, 6 months feels like a blink, hardly enough time to trust that anything has truly changed. But something in her voice had sounded different. Earnest. Almost nervous. So here I am, crossing the bridge that connects my new life with the old one. My redesigned apartment with its bold colors and statement furniture grows smaller in the rearview mirror. Ahead lies the familiar tree-lined street of my childhood, where I learned to disappear. I turn onto my parents' block and spot something unexpected: balloons tied to the mailbox. Blue and silver balloons dancing in the breeze. A knot forms in my throat. I park behind Dad's truck and sit for a moment, gathering myself. Through the windshield, I watch Mom peek through the living room curtains. She waves, a tentative smile on her face. The front door opens before I reach it. "Emery," Mom says, stepping forward to embrace me. Her hug lasts longer than usual, her perfume familiar yet somehow different against this new dynamic between us. "You look wonderful." "Thanks," I say, following her inside. The house smells of roasting chicken and something sweet, cinnamon maybe. "What's the occasion?" Mom's eyes dart toward the dining room. "Why don't you go see for yourself?" I round the corner and stop cold. The dining room table, normally set with simple white plates for family dinners, gleams with the good china and crystal glasses. A vase of fresh flowers sits center stage beside a large white box from Macrina Bakery. Blue and silver streamers hang from the chandelier. "Surprise," Dad says, rising awkwardly from his chair. "Better late than never, I suppose." Camille steps forward from behind him, her hands clutching a wrapped package. "Happy belated birthday, Em." I remain frozen in the doorway, unable to process the scene before me. Dad gestures toward the cake box. "Go ahead," he says, voice gruff with something that might be embarrassment. "Open it." With numb fingers, I lift the lid. Inside sits a chocolate cake with buttercream frosting, written across the top in elegant blue script. "Happy belated 30th birthday, Emery." "I know we can't undo the past," Dad continues, eyes fixed somewhere over my shoulder. "But your mother and I have been doing some thinking. About how we've—" He pauses, searching for words. "Not been as attentive as we should have been." The understatement hangs in the air between us. 30 years of forgotten birthdays, overlooked achievements, and invisible accomplishments, reduced to not being attentive. Camille steps forward, pressing her gift into my hands. "Open mine first." Inside the wrapping paper, I find a sleek black frame. Behind the glass is a professional photograph of the hotel lobby. I redesigned the project that earned me that bonus, that gave me the courage to buy my car, that changed everything. Beside the photo is the review from Seattle Architecture Monthly, praising the bold vision and flawless execution. "I had it printed and framed," Camille says, watching my face. "I thought maybe you could hang it in your office." "Thank you," I whisper, genuinely touched by her thoughtfulness. This island, perfect. We sit down to dinner, the conversation stilted but sincere. Mom serves my favorite chicken marsala, something she's made countless times for Camille but rarely for me. Dad asks about my current projects with awkward interest. Camille fills silences with stories from her music studio. "We wanted to make up for missing your birthday," Mom says as she serves the cake. The words catch me off guard, not an acknowledgement of decades of pattern, just a single missed occasion. Dad nods, cutting into his slice. "Your mother feels terrible about it." I set my fork down. "It wasn't just my 30th birthday, Dad." The table goes quiet. Dad looks uncomfortable, eyes darting to Mom for rescue. "I know," Mom says finally. "We've missed a lot. Made you feel less important." "Second place," I say quietly. "Or no place at all." The cake sits half-eaten on our plates as I continue. "I appreciate tonight, I really do. But I need you to understand something. I'm not looking for makeup celebrations or guilt-driven attention. I look each of them in the eye, Dad, who still can't quite understand my career. Mom, who's trying but still misses the point. Camille, who seems truly sorry for her unwitting role in my invisibility. What I want is respect. Recognition that I exist, that my achievements matter, that my presence in this family counts for something." Dad shifts in his chair. "Of course you count, Emery. You've always counted." "Have I?" I ask. "When was the last time you came to one of my design exhibitions? Or asked about my career without me bringing it up first? When did you ever put one of my events ahead of Camille's?" Silence falls again, heavier this time. Things will be different now, Mom promises, reaching for my hand. I let her take it, but my voice remains steady. They already are different, because I'm different. I decide my worth now, not anyone else. The words hang in the air, not angry, just matter of fact. For the first time in my life, I feel the power shifting in this room. No longer the forgotten daughter seeking crumbs of attention, but a woman stating her terms. Fair enough, Dad says finally, nodding slowly. We've got some catching up to do. Camille raises her water glass. To new beginnings? And better birthdays? I lift my glass to meet hers, studying the faces around the table, my imperfect family, trying their imperfect best to repair what they've broken. Not because I forced them with my car purchase, but because my act of self-worth showed them who I really am. The cake tastes sweet on my tongue, not perfect, but good enough. Like this moment, not everything I dreamed of, but perhaps everything I need. To new boundaries, I amend, my voice strong. And to celebrate ourselves when no one else remembers to. A year later, the gentle ping of my phone startles me awake. I squint at the screen, surprised to find a text from Dad. Happy birthday, Emery. Hope it's a good one. Simple, straightforward, completely unlike last year's deafening silence. More notifications appear as I brush my teeth. Mom sent flowers. Camille wants to take me to lunch. My colleagues have planned something at the office. The contrast with my 30th birthday strikes me like a physical sensation, warm sunlight after a year of storms. I slide into my Audi, running my hand over the leather steering wheel. For a year now, this car has been my daily reminder of the moment I decided to value myself. Today, it carries me toward a birthday that others finally remember. At the design firm, my team surprises me with champagne and a towering chocolate cake. My assistant, Ben, holds up a toast. To Emery, whose redesign of the Harborview Hotel just landed us the Westlake Tower contract. The client specifically requested you. The praise washes over me, and I accept it without deflection. Last year, I would have mumbled something self-deprecating. Today, I simply raise my glass. Thank you all. I couldn't ask for better colleagues. Later, Camille meets me at our favorite waterfront restaurant. She looks different, somehow more attentive, less absorbed in herself. I reserved the table with the best view, she says, leading me to a window seat overlooking Elliott Bay. She hands me a small wrapped box. It's not much, but inside rests a silver compass pendant. For the woman who found her own direction. The card reads, "It's perfect," I say, genuinely touched. Camille reaches across the table. I've been thinking about what you said last year, about always being invisible. She pauses. I never realized what it cost you to cheer for me all those years. I clasp the pendant around my neck. We can't change the past. No, she agrees, but I can do better now. After lunch, I drive to Cary Park Viewpoint. The Seattle skyline spreads before me, the Space Needle piercing a sky unusually clear for September. My phone rings, Mom. Happy birthday, sweetheart, she says, her voice warm but cautious. Did you get the flowers? They're beautiful, Mom. Thank you. A pause. Your father and I wondered if you'd join us for dinner this weekend? Nothing fancy, just family. Family. The word sits differently now, no longer weighted with expectation and disappointment. I'd like that, I say. Saturday would work. The invitation hangs between us, not a demand disguised as a question, but a genuine request. The subtle shift feels monumental. Back home, a package waits outside my apartment door. Camille's handwriting. I carry it inside, peeling back the brown paper to reveal a handmade scrapbook. Page after page documents moments I thought no one had noticed: my college graduation, my first design award, newspaper clippings about the Harborview project. A note falls from between the pages. I see you now. I'm sorry it took so long. I trace my fingers over a photo of myself standing beside my Audi, taken the day I bought it. The moment I stopped waiting for validation and claimed it for myself. Opening my desk drawer, I remove a recent photo me with my design team at the hotel opening. I carefully paste it into the scrapbook, completing the chronicle of my journey. The afternoon light slants through my window, as I consider my evening plans. Mom and Dad's dinner invitation. A birthday gathering friends have organized at Elliott's Oyster House. Both options remain open, neither carrying the weight of obligation. For the first time, the choice is truly mine. Whatever I decide, I'll celebrate on my own terms. I stand before my mirror, fastening Camille's compass around my neck. My reflection shows a woman who finally understands that her worth never depended on family recognition. It was always there, waiting to be claimed. My car keys glint on the counter, catching the light. The Audi wasn't just a purchase, it was a declaration. A promise to myself that I would never again wait for others to acknowledge my milestones. Some gifts change more than your possessions. They change who you are.